In today's video, guys, I want to share with you a super simple theme for the Shogun dungeon that will allow you to progress throughout all of the stages and get you to stage 25. Currently, I am on the test server because I don't need to make a mess on my actual account by rebuilding different champions that I'm not using for this particular dungeon. The boss got a bit of a nerf, if you're not familiar with it, guys. So basically, they reduced the stats, the accuracy requirements, etc., his defense, his HP. Now, his speed got decreased, but only up to stage 19, while on the other stages it's still the same. So on stage 25, the boss has 350 speed. You don't need to have that crazy speed in order to beat this dungeon, and I gotta say it is definitely more accessible. The way his mark works, basically when you're under the debuff and you are hitting him, he has a counter that is basically accumulating, and then he becomes pretty nasty because he's not gonna take damage from HP burn, etc. But they completely changed the shade counter, and you don't need to have a lot of crazy blessings. Of course, if you do, it does help because you are taking less damage from the boss. But overall, you can definitely fight this dungeon much easier than we were able to do it before. So the team that I want to show you today, guys, is the following one that we have on the screen. Now, the reason why I have Mitrala in here is because she is a more accessible free-to-play version for pretty much everybody that plays the game and started doing Hydra. And not only does she cleanses, which is not going to be the main thing that we're needing here from her, but we will need to have this shield. So it's just to basically reinforce our team to ensure that they are going to stay alive. If the boss starts killing some of your allies, you will eventually get in trouble. And she will deal a bit of damage with poisons. She will give us increased defense, increased attack, which is not really going to be that relevant, but still is going to help a little bit. And the main thing is this strengthen and shield, just to reduce the damage that we are getting from the boss. Then we're going to have Husk. Husk is an amazing enemy max HP damage dealer. He works super good on this stage, especially that he is strong affinity too. We have Coldheart, Void Affinity. We have Renegade, who's going to decrease the cooldown of the skills. And she will be the main target for the Enfeeble by having the highest crit damage on her. But I'm going to walk you through builds and everything else in a second. And then we have Reliquary Tender, who's going to do the cleanse for us, give us continuous heal. And in case if my Renegade dies, she's going to revive to ensure that our team is going to be 100% successful. Now, this is a pretty good run. It's fast farm. We are farming it at around 60 seconds. We do need to have a preset, guys. So basically, we open with the A2 on Mitrala to buff us with increased defense and increased attack. With Husk, we are using the A2 as the main skill, so you want to have this as the priority. With Coldheart, you open with the Heartseeker. With Renegade, you're not using the A2 because she will have an Enfeeble, and it doesn't really matter anymore because she has a 4-star blessing now, so we're not really going to increase the stack of shade on the boss anyway. But we don't want to use a multi-hit skill on her, especially when she has the Enfeeble. I'll rather not use this skill at all. Open, of course, with a Sacrificial Ritual to decrease the cooldown of all of the skills on my team. And then she can use the A1 if she pleases so. Reliquary Tender will open with a basic skill. Then she will move over to the cleanse. So let me just quickly show you a couple of runs to see how this team works. I do have Mitrala as the lead because I don't really have better options. You know, I would prefer either a speed lead, either a HP, either a defense. So you see how much easier it is to hit the enemy max HP cap on this boss now, guys, without having decreased defense or weaken. We are getting the 294k without a problem. And that is the enemy max HP cap. Now, before, even with defense down and weaken, my Coldheart was not hitting the enemy max HP cap, which was just mind-blowing. That was happening. So now you don't even need Savage on your champions to do it. My Husk is not on Savage. So basically, when the boss spreads all of the debuffs to my team, we always have Reliquary Tender cleanse. And then shortly after, we have Mitrala buffing with shield and strengthen just to ensure that our champions are going to survive. So the boss puts that Enfeeble on our Renegade. It doesn't really matter. We are quickly taking down that stack. Again, Reliquary Tender coming in with the cleanse at the right moment is all about the timing and the way you are basically putting your your skills in the preset. You know, super simple to get it done. 1 minute and 12 seconds. And the good part about this is that will allow you to climb on every single stage, starting from stage freaking 1 all the way up to stage 25 if you need to do that. Let's do another run on this stage, guys, and then we're gonna go to a lower stage. So I have my Renegade on a bolster set. I do need her to basically recoup some of the HP. If you cannot give her a bolster set, it's not a problem. You can always put Mitrala, for example, on a shield set and put a Renegade on a regeneration. Just keep in mind, she needs to have the highest crit damage in the team, guys. Like that, she will be the target for the Enfeeble, and the rest of the champions will be able to deal that damage, and we're going to have Reliquary Cleansing at the right moment, which is kind of like what we need to do in order to ensure that the team will succeed, basically, you know. There we go. We have that shield. We recouped some of the HP. We have Strengthen on, which will definitely keep Renegade alive. And that's basically what we need to have in here. Okay. The boss will use the buff spread, the debuff spread right now. Sorry, not a buff spread. Then we have, of course, again, the cleanse from Reliquary Tender. Cold Heart, wiping the boss off. 1 minute and 2 seconds. Pretty straightforward. And it's so much easier to hit the enemy max HP cap now. Is actually crazy. Now, if you don't have Husk, you can always use Whisper. Whisper will work great in this team too. But the main thing is you need to have that defense down and weaken for her. And she won't be doing as much damage, you know. So I probably suggest you either keep Husk, either bring in a second Cold Heart. It doesn't really matter, you know. Double Cold Heart and the rest is going to get the job done without a problem. But let's head over to stage 19, right? Let's just go here. So Husk, this is another tip right here. Husk is weak affinity, which means he's going to have a very high chance to weak hit. Now, the build that I have on Husk will reduce that RNG. So currently on Husk, I have a Affinity Breaker set. And it's not because I wanted to use it necessarily on the Shogun. It's because I have that on for the Curse City. So we have a much lower chance to actually weak hit, even though we are weak affinity. And I would strongly suggest you to use at least one Affinity Breaker set if you want to be able to progress through all of the stages while keeping the same team with Husk in it. If no, weak hitting too much can cause you issues. But if you have a lot of blessings on, you don't really have to worry about it. So right here, we have a bit of an issue because seems like my Reliquary Tender was a bit too fast. The boss does have a much lower speed, and she cleansed before. But then, thankfully, we have Mitrala in, which is our second cleanser, and she basically saved the situation and cleansed all of those debuffs. And bang, just like that, you beat stage 19, 53 seconds. Let's go to stage 20, Force Affinity. The good part is that we have 4 Void Heroes in here, so it doesn't really matter. I do have, I think, 1 or 2 reaction on Renegade as well. That definitely helps a lot at the beginning. If she doesn't get completely destroyed by the hit and the boss doesn't crit, it's helpful. If the boss crit, it's useless. But if you have it, why not use it, you know? So they're all basically small little things that can help make your run safer and ensure you that you will get this done without a problem. So the counter is not going up at all anymore, guys. It's just such a massive change. It's crazy how much better it is. Especially if you have a 5-6 star blessing, you're basically dropping all of that off from the boss, and it's massive. Look how squishy the boss is here. So much squishier. Like, just raw damage is absolutely demolishing this boss. And there you go. Stage 20. Super, super simple. With the same team. 100% win rate on every single stage. Now, the lower you go on the stages, the lower the speed. So maybe if you're doing stage 10, stage 15, you will have to basically build this team first with 15, 20 less speed than they currently have. When you get to it again, you're basically going to be able to increase the speed on the higher stages and get the job done. But let me just quickly share with you guys the builds, the masteries, and everything else that you need to know about the team. So starting with Mitrala, she has a pretty odd build, I would say. She's built on Savage and Perception. You don't need this. She will deal a bit of extra damage, but this is just the build that I have on her. And I'm not really using Mitrala much anywhere at the moment, to be honest. Total stats, 65k HP, 2.8k attack. I have no Phantom Shogun area bonuses whatsoever. 229 speed, full crit rate, 193 crit damage, 450 accuracy. It seems like 450 accuracy is more than enough for stage 25 to land the poisons, which is great news because the accuracy required before was 550 to 600. So 450 works now. Masteries, we have offense and support. War Master as tier 6, guys. We have Master Hexer. Then moving over to Husk, Affinity Breaker, and crit damage set. Total stats on him, we have 80k HP, 3.6k defense. Keep in mind, he's empowered to +3, so the survivability stats help him a bit. 241 speed, full crit, 251 crit damage, and I have 230 accuracy, but that is completely irrelevant for this boss. In terms of masteries, I have Helm Smasher as tier 6. I have support. I'm going all the way to Spirit Haste. I used to run him in Hydra sometimes. The reason why I changed him to Helm Smasher is mainly for the Cursiri. Then Cold Heart. We have Savage and Speed. I have a couple of refresh accessories. If the proc is good, if no, again, is good. 46k HP, 3.6k attack, 2.5k defense, 260 speed, 70 crit, 241 crit damage. In terms of masteries, we have Giant Slayer as tier 6, and we have support going all the way down to Sniper. Then we have Renegade built on a bolster and a crit damage set, double reaction. You don't need a reaction, but it does help to keep her on a higher HP. Total stats, 88k HP, 2.4k defense, 198 speed, 291 crit damage. So you want to stack the highest crit damage on her. Even if it's 1% more crit damage than the rest of your damage dealers, it's fine. You don't need to have 50 more. One extra crit damage is more than enough. Masteries, we have offense and support, War Master as tier 6. Then we have a Reliquary Tender, no masteries, how you may notice. On a regeneration and a speed, I do have a Blood Shield accessory. The reaction doesn't matter. 72k HP, 3.2k defense, 279 speed. So you do want her to be the fastest in the team just to ensure that that cleanse will come before the allies get to actually deal damage. Now, in terms of blessings, Phantom Touch on the rare champions helps to bring a bit of extra damage. Having emergency heal on Reliquary Tender can be a bit helpful, but it won't really make much of a difference. On Husk, preferably, I would prefer to get Cruelty, honestly. I feel like Cruelty can be a bit better. I do have a Heaven Cast. That's a nice touch too, to increase a bit of damage for the A1, the A3, because we're already hitting the enemy max HP cap anyway. And on Mitrala, I have Life Harvester, which honestly doesn't do nothing versus the Phantom Shogun, guys. But that was all. A pretty simple team for every single player out there that will allow you to climb in the Phantom Shogun, starting from the lowest stage, taking you all the way up to the moon, stage 25. Farm it, get your dust, get your oils, get your powder, or whatever we are getting from the Phantom Shogun. I'm always mixing them up. And yeah, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.